Welcome to the first edition of Republican Stronghold. Today, our guest is the 2026 candidate for Texas Attorney General, Aaron Reitz.
How are you, Jessica?
Good. So glad to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Happy to be here.
We're just really thankful that you took the time to come out and chat with us.
I'm happy that you guys are launching this. This is fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. We've got big plans. So just to share a little bit about you with our audience, you were born on May 22nd, 1987, the day before my birthday.
Oh.
So fellow Gemini.
All right. Awesome. Very cool.
You married your high school sweetheart.
That's right.
You have 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
You graduated from A&M in 2009.
That's right.
Magna cum laude.
Yes.
With a BS in poli-sci. You then joined the Marine Corps in 2009 to 2014.
I was on active duty for those 5 years. Still in the reserve, though.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Thank you for your service.
Had a great time.
We're greatly appreciative. And now you're a major.
That's right.
Awesome. Right. You graduated in 2017 from A&M Law.
UT Law.
UT Law.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit of a mix. That's right. I'm still an Aggie, though. I mean, I married a Longhorn. My high school sweetheart is a Longhorn. We've got a divided household, but at the end of the day, I bleed maroon. You know, I went to A&M. I can't.
Can't help yourself.
No,
huh?
I can't help myself. I mean, UT Law was a great grad program, and I will cheer on the Longhorns against any other non-Texas team. But at the end of the day, I'm an Aggie, so you know.
Okay, well, we'll forgive you this time. So in the Marine Corps, you were with the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marine Embedded Training Team?
That's right. Yep. We deployed to the Helmand province of Afghanistan. And at the time, I was there from the fall of 11 to spring of 12. And at the time, the way that Marine units were deploying overseas is they would partner sort of overlaid with an Afghan battalion, the effort being to sort of transition them to be able to do their own thing, because we weren't hoping to be there for a long time. And for each battalion, they created an embedded training team to go live with the Afghan National Army on their side of the base camp and do things with them, as opposed to the more conventional infantry battalion operations on the Marine side. So it was a very unique experience of mine. My son, actually, my oldest of the 4, my boy was born while I was in Afghanistan. And so I met him when he was about 4 or 5 months old. And when I came home, I knew that, you know, look, I loved my time in the Marines. It was an awesome adventure as a young man in his early 20s. But I wanted to continue my fight for the Constitution, for our country, very public service minded, but maybe not full-time in uniform anymore. So I took the law school admissions test and then went off to UT. But I still keep that affiliation because I'm still in the reserve, you know, and I love being with the guys from time to time. I like the idea that if, God forbid, there's some other terrible 9/11 type attack, that I would be available. My hand is raised to be ready to serve. So, but no, my time in Afghanistan was hugely formative for me as a leader, as a man. My foreign policy views evolved while I was there, but I'm grateful for the experience.
I bet. Well, that's wonderful. So while you were at UT Law, you were president, Texas Federalist Society, editor-in-chief of the Texas Review of Law and Politics.
That's right. Yeah. And like, I mean, that's consistent with what I said just a moment ago, is like, I didn't go to law school just to go make money, although what they are paying young lawyers nowadays is astronomical. And by the way, my wife and I come from a middle-class family. And so when I found out how much these young associates make, it was like more than my dad ever made in his entire career. And so for me, it was like, you know, me and my high school sweetheart, like, oh my gosh, we're going to be so rich, you know what I mean?
Culture shock.
Yeah, it was total culture shock. But when I went to UT for law school, the reason for my going there was to continue to fight for the values that we hold so dear, which is why I jumped in to lead our Texas Federalist Society. We got recognized as best chapter in the country, led our conservative law journal. The Texas Review of Law and Politics is one of the few journals of legal scholarship that produces right of center legal pieces, and had the opportunity to be the editor-in-chief of that.
That's interesting to know. You were also the executive editor of the Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy.
That's right. So Harvard has a conservative law journal in a way that UT has a conservative law journal. And so they often, for certain special editions, will take guest editors that are not at Harvard Law School to lead a team of editors to produce a few pieces and then publish. So I had the opportunity to do that with Harvard. It was very cool.
Awesome. And then the Blackstone Fellow.
Oh yeah, I was a Blackstone legal fellow with the Alliance Defending Freedom, and that was, ADF is one of our country's premier religious liberty Christian legal advocacy and legal advocacy groups for people of faith, in particular Christians. And so ADF is involved in religious liberty cases where Christians' free exercise under the First Amendment is being infringed in different ways. And so that was the beginning. My fellowship with the Alliance Defending Freedom was the beginning of what has now become many, many years of litigating and defending and advancing religious liberty for people of faith here in this country. And I've gotten to do it throughout my career, and I will certainly champion religious liberty and the cause of Christians in court who are often harassed or discriminated against or overlooked, and they need legal defense. And here in Texas, the Texas AG wields vast powers to be able to defend Christians, defend our faith in the justice system in which it's often discriminated against.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Aaron. So why did you choose to run for this particular office? I mean, you're going to be, running for Texas's top cop.
Well, because I think that we're in a civilizational battle against forces that are deeply anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-creation, anti-family, anti-children, all that we hold to be good, true, and beautiful, the forces of the left, and not just a random, fringe segment of the left, but indeed the very heart, the mainstream of the American left in America today, is a force of darkness that needs to be stopped. The legal system, the justice system, is a key arena through which they seek to destroy us. They wield all kinds of cultural, political, financial powers. But the one that I'm primarily focused on, the arena where I've been fighting for my whole professional career, is the justice system, the legal arena. And I have seen, going back even to my days as Attorney General Ken Paxton's right-hand man and his deputy, from my time with Senator Ted Cruz as his chief, and even most recently my time in the senior-most ranks of the Justice Department, where I was President Trump's appointed and Senate-confirmed head of the Office of Legal Policy. We're fighting against really true bad guys. And Texas deserves to have a battle-tested, Trump-vetted, Paxton-endorsed legal fighter, somebody who President Trump said was, quote, his true MAGA attorney and warrior for the Constitution. That's what we need as the next Texas AG if Texas is going to stay Texas. It's what Texas needs if we're going to vanquish our foes, if we're going to deal with the wiles of the left, if we're going to stop the lawfare that the left propagates against us. Texas needs to have a fighter. We need to send in the Marine to this kind of fight.
True story.
And look, as I was at the Justice Department and I was thinking very prayerfully about whether to even do this and run for Texas AG, it became very, very clear to me that the field of candidates that had already declared, and even the field of candidates that was contemplating an announcement for AG, were totally inadequate for the task ahead. They may be good people, nice men and women, better or worse legislative records, but this isn't a legislative position. Under Article 4, Section 22 of the Texas Constitution, it says, quote, the Attorney General shall represent the state of Texas in all courts and pleas. This is a legal, law enforcement, executive branch job. It is not a legislative job. And so what we need, if Texas is going to thrive, if its legal environment is going to be one that allows liberty, freedom, prosperity, virtue to flourish, you got to have somebody with a legal record ready to litigate, investigate, sue, defend, and appeal on behalf of Texas and on behalf of Texans.
Yeah, because Texas is in the crosshairs. And they're spending billions of dollars to turn us blue.
Billions of dollars. And if we don't have the right people in place, I'm not saying that the Attorney General alone can save everything that we care about. It requires a good executive branch, it requires a good judicial branch, and it requires a good legislative branch. But the position on the field that I am certain that I am best at, because we got a lot of warriors in the arena, but the position for which I am best suited, for which God has uniquely created me to be effective for the things that we care about, is the Texas Attorney General's office. And I think my record on legal issues, advancing and defending all the things that we care about, whether you, the members of your club, or the people that are listening to this, whether you are get out of bed and you care primarily about election integrity or border security, Second Amendment, free speech, religious liberty, fighting against medical tyranny, the overreach of big blue cities and counties, the anti-transification of our kids. Like, you pick the issue, and I have been in legal combat, securing wins for Texas, for Texans, and for our country for my entire professional career. And my opponents don't even come close to that. They're out there pretending like they're ready to be the state's top lawyer. They are not even close. And so Texans need to think, we haven't had to choose an AG in over a decade.
Correct.
I had the privilege of serving as Ken Paxton's deputy for 3 years. We had a great time together. I was primarily responsible for the Texas v. Biden docket. Proud to say that I sued the 46th president 46 times and won 85% of those cases. But Texans are now going back to the drawing board, and they're saying, okay, we have selected Paxton as the incumbent multiple times. We haven't had an open primary in a while. Who's best to do the job that they're applying for? And our Republican primary voters are discerning people, and they're like, okay, wait, I'm not choosing a legislator. I'm not choosing a judge. I'm not choosing a governor or a lieutenant governor. I'm choosing the state's top lawyer. Who's got the legal record to show me and the battle scars to prove that he's ready, been in combat to do it. And I think it's very clear that I'm the guy with the record that can give Texans confidence that I'm ready to serve in this role.
Sounds awesome. So what are the things that you're considering changing in the AG's office?
Well, I think what's really important to consider is that, my last time that I served as Paxton's deputy, the power dynamics were unique at that time, right? It was Biden was in the White House, and we were suing Biden all day, every day, on all of the things that he was trying to turn on this state, meddling in our elections, taking our guns, withholding federal funds to guarantee abortions, or to their trans agenda, or whatever, their environmental agenda, in which they were trying to turn Texas, even though we are blessed to have a robust oil and gas and energy industry here in Texas. Obviously the greenies in the Biden Democratic administration wanted to crush all of that. They were hostile on every single front. And in order to defend Texas against the predations of the radical left that had occupied the White House, we had to sue Biden all the time. And I did that. I was Paxton's offensive coordinator. He always calls me his offensive coordinator. He was like the head coach of our team. I was the offensive coordinator, cooking up winning lawsuits to sue Biden and win in court, and to be a firewall, a legal firewall against the Democrats. Now the power dynamics are very different, right? We have a friend in the White House, not just a friend, but like a very close ally in the White House. And so what I'm going to do, and what Paxton has been doing really since Trump got sworn in earlier this year, is rather than having all of our biggest guns oriented at Washington, because it was enemy territory, it was hostile, right? Now we can coordinate and cooperate and integrate with the Trump administration to jointly turn our mutual guns against the enemies of liberty and the Constitution and the left. So what's unique about this era in which I'm running, and when I get sworn in, I'm going to have 2 full years with President Trump as the President of the United States, as our country's chief executive, in which there is total political, philosophical, jurisprudential alignment. And so we can root out libs and all of their effects before, nip those things in the bud. And so really my vision is going to be to advance the America First law and order agenda. I'm uniquely suited to do that as the next AG, because I'm the only person in this race who not only served in the senior most ranks of the Trump administration, but was hand selected by President Trump to be one of his top lawyers when I got nominated to head up the Office of Legal Policy at DOJ. And when he nominated me, he called me a true MAGA attorney and a warrior for the Constitution. This administration deserves to have somebody, Texans deserve to have somebody who's already been fully vetted and selected to partner with Trump to advance our shared justice and law and order agenda right here in Texas. And so that's going to manifest itself in a few different ways. It's going to be rooting out fraud, waste, abuse, corruption, pro-crime policies of our big blue cities and our big blue counties, right? These DAs are rotten, they are crooked, they are making our communities less safe. And when we're talking right now in Bastrop, how many people had to leave Austin because of the situation the Democrats have put it in to now come out here and live in a much nicer community where our kids can ride their bikes freely and not have to step over homeless people?
A tremendous amount.
Right? A tremendous amount.
That's why we're one of the biggest growing counties in the state.
Totally. So, it's going to be cleaning up our corrupt big blue cities in our counties. It's going to be partnering with state, local, and federal law enforcement to accelerate the deportation agenda. It's going to be ensuring that all of the shackles of the environmental overregs are broken so that oil and gas and energy production can flourish in the state. It's going to be targeting public institutions in which wokeists are still deeply embedded and hiding and changing their names. They're not DEI directors anymore. They're opportunity directors now, right? Well, that stuff is illegal in Texas. It requires an AG to wield the weapons of state law and case law, federal law, and regulations and so forth, and to go out and seek out the left, smoke them out, hold them accountable to what they're doing. And so we're going to defeat wokeism everywhere that it may be found, whether it's DEI or ESG or LGBTQ, etc., all that stuff. But fundamentally, it falls under the banner of Aaron Reitz as the next AG is uniquely suited to advance the America First law, order, and justice agenda right here in Texas.
I love it. I love it. Can you please close with what you want voters to remember when they go into that box to mark their ballot?
Well, look, I would say this. I remember the first time I swore my oath. I raised my right hand, and I swore an oath at the age of 22 as a brand new second lieutenant to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The next time that I raised my right hand and swore that oath, it was in the West Wing with Attorney General Bondi standing in front of me, having me recite the very same oath. And yet, as a younger man, it was the foreign enemies that I often thought about, right? I mean, I came up in the sort of war on terror era, went to Afghanistan. That's kind of like how I thought about it when I was wearing a uniform, right? But many years later, I wasn't wearing a uniform anymore. I was wearing a suit and a tie, and I didn't have an M4 service rifle anymore. I had my law books, but the oath was identical. And yet the words that really stood out to me was to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I believe that we live in a country now where we really do have enemies of the Constitution that are right here domestically.
Agreed.
And they manifest themselves in different ways. Where I'm chiefly concerned about their efforts, the enemies of the Constitution, is in the justice system. And in order to defeat them, Texas needs to have a battle-tested, Trump-vetted, Paxton-endorsed lawyer with a proven track record, litigating, investigating, suing, defending, and appealing on all the major issues that we care about to make sure that Texas is defended. Texans should not settle for anything less. They should not settle for my smooth-talking opponents who are going to want to talk about their legislative record, but has no bearing whatsoever on the position for which they're applying. And so if President Trump put his trust in me to lead high-level legal teams, if Senator Cruz entrusted me, if Attorney General Paxton entrusted me, if the Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court, for whom I clerked, entrusted me to do those things, I would ask Texans to put their trust in me to do the same as their next Chief Legal Officer as the Attorney General of Texas.
Perfect. Thanks, Aaron, for joining us. I appreciate you greatly. And for being our first guest at Republican Stronghold. I understand you're going to be at the Texas Federation of Republican Women Convention next week.
I sure will. I would invite, I hope many of your members are going. I think that I'm speaking on Saturday morning. They're going to have a whole,
meet and greet?
There's a meet and greet, and then there's the speeches it's a cattle call of candidates on Saturday morning. So
Mhm.
I would invite your members not only to come to the TFRW convention in San Antonio
Mhm.
next weekend, but also to stay tuned Saturday morning. I think you guys will either get 5 or 10 minutes of my time, whatever the speech length is.
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. So yeah, anybody who's out there watching this, please come and attending the convention. Please come and meet Aaron and chat with him in person. So please join us next time when we present our views on Republican Stronghold. Have a blessed day.